The door that never opens twice. Theron lived in the corridor of the ordinary. It was a hallway that stretched into forever, lined with thousands of identical dust-colored doors. Each led to a predictable room with a predictable view. Theron spent his days walking this path, comfortable in the silence of the expected, until the day the air began to hum with a low, melodic vibration. At the end of a long turn, the gray monotony shattered. There stood a door forged of liquid sunlight and hammered gold. It didn't just exist, it radiated. It whispered of mountain peaks yet unclimbed, of a love that could move the stars, and of a success that tasted like the first rain after a drought. Theron stopped, his breath catching in his throat as the golden light bathed his face. With a sound like a soft sigh, the golden door swung inward. It didn't reveal a room, but a horizon. A vast, shimmering world lay beyond the threshold, beckoning him to step through. A gentle breeze, carrying the scent of jasmine and salt water, drifted out, brushing against his skin. The invitation was silent but absolute. Now. As Theron prepared to leap, a cold chill climbed his spine. A shadow, thin and jagged like broken glass, detached itself from the wall. This was fear. It didn't scream, it whispered. It told Theron of the sharp rocks beyond the horizon and the cold winds that would surely tear his spirit apart. Theron's foot retreated, touching the gray carpet once more. Then came a second shadow, tall and stiff-necked. This was Pride. It crossed its arms and scoffed at the golden door. "You are meant for a grander entrance than this," Pride sneered. "Wait for a door that recognizes your full worth. Do not go chasing after the first bright thing that opens for you." Theron straightened his collar, feeling a sudden hollow sense of self-importance. Finally, a soft, heavy shadow named Maybe Later drifted over him like a thick fog. It suggested that there was no rush. Theron looked at his watch and then at his scuffed shoes. "I should polish these first," he reasoned. "I should organize my satchel. The door is open now. Surely it will stay open while I prepare." He sat on a nearby bench and began to fuss with the mundane buckles of his bag. The melody of the door began to change. The hum became the rhythmic chugging of a steam engine. In the distance of the golden world, a spectral train began to pull away from a station Theron hadn't reached. The whistle blew, a long, mournful cry that echoed through the hallway. The golden light began to flicker and pull back into the frame of the door. Panic flared in Theron's chest. He reached into his pocket for the heavy brass key he had carried since the door appeared, but as his fingers brushed it, the metal grew hot and then turned to fine, gray silt. The key dissolved and poured through his fingers like sand in an hourglass. The golden door groaned on its hinges, moving with a slow, agonizing finality. Decades passed in the blink of a heavy eye. Theron, now silver-haired and bent by the weight of many ordinary years, returned to that same bend in the corridor. He walked slowly, his cane tapping against the gray floor. He looked for the glow, for the music, for the scent of jasmine. But the air was stale, and the silence was heavy and absolute. Where the magnificent golden door had stood, there was only a blank, seamless wall. There was no handle to turn, no keyhole to pick, and no shadow to blame. Theron placed a trembling hand against the cold stone. He realized then that the door hadn't been an impossibility, it had been a choice. And opportunities, he finally understood, are not lost all at once, but one delay at a time.